I want to start off with just acknowledging and thanking Paula and Alex and Jason, our volunteer, for this amazing setup process that you guys have done. You know, this is the second time that we've had an open house gathering. And as I said before, with each time that we do it, we're just going to get better and better at it. And we're learning a lot more about how everything works and what we need and, you know, what worked great, what could be better each time we do it. And so thank you for doing that. It's, you know, this wouldn't be happening without you guys, believe me. And on Zoom, we have Jan Spencer, whom everybody met, our secretary on the board, and also amazing library volunteer, of course. Emma Delisle is also here, and she's on our library team and has devoted gazillions of hours of getting the database entry done. And we have Cynthia Ringhausen, one of the founding mothers of the Tree of Life Sanctuary. She's in Utah, and we're really happy that you were able to make it. She's been working, you know, working for a Jewish community center that has summer programs for kids. And they hire everybody for those programs like within 1 month. And she's the payroll person. So she has to get all those people into the system. And most of them probably aren't even repeat employees. So she's fortunate. We're really grateful to have her here today. So we are waiting for a couple more people and we'll just see how that goes. Jesse is also supposed to be here with us virtually, so maybe he'll pop in. So for the recording, let me just say that today is Saturday, June 15th, 2024, and this is the Tree of Life Sanctuary's Summer Solstice Open House. And I really appreciate the opportunity to have some fun with you guys. I prefer to kind of be sitting in a circle and just, you know, chit-chatting and having a glass of wine and stuff like that. This classroom setup is kind of like not my most favorite, so, but I'm also kind of tied to the computer right now for the camera, so bear with that. We have John Mason here with us today, his job is to help me remember how to have fun. Thank you. I really need that. And we have Lynn Brisden with us, our awesome spiritual satisfaction group coaching program coach. And dear friend, she's been helping me build what we're doing here today in many years. Couldn't be doing it without you. Thank you. And Paula Forget, our amazing author and all-around event coordinator. I'm so glad we got to meet through Masters of the Journey. You're really critical to all this happening. Thank you. And then in the back there, we got Alex and her husband, Jason. Alex is our new operations manager and growing into operations manager extraordinaire. And I have complete trust that that's going to turn out perfect for her and for Tree of Life Sanctuary. So what I wanted to do was just, we all know each other already. I don't know how much more we can say about ourselves. So, and same pretty much with who we have here virtually. So as far as an introduction goes, if we have some people come in at that moment, we'll take a break and we'll do a little introduction. Is there anything that anybody would like to bring up and ask in general about the Tree of Life Sanctuary that maybe you haven't got, you know, really had a chance to ask anybody? That, you know, it might be good to take this opportunity to talk about something like that.
Do you feel the secret library?
Yeah, when will the Seekers Library doors be open? Yeah. My heart is saying it will be in the fall. We have, as a not-for-profit 501c3, we have a fiduciary requirement to give due diligence to getting bids for all the major projects that we do. And it's been quite a journey to find 3 architects that are interested in doing a small leasehold and tenant improvement. However, we've done it. We've gotten 2 of the architects out here to take a look and give us a proposal. And our 3rd one is this coming Friday. And so once we have that proposal from that architect, then the board and the core planning team will take a look at all 3 of them and discuss what our preference is. And then we will tell that architect we want to use them. And then the architect creates a plan. And then the plan has to be approved by the property owner of the Bakerview Square. So we imagine that by the end of July at the latest, we should have that approved. And then the next step is finding a contractor to do the construction. We've already been interviewing several. We have one in particular that we really like. And that is actually the contractor that the architect we like the best so far also likes. So we're kind of like, flowing into this tunnel of, or portal is a better way to put it, of everything coming together and opening up. And so we just got to be patient and continue to go through these steps. And in the fall, winter solstice is always that time of year when things are that we've been working on comes to a point of, like, at the very most stillest and inward point. And then from that next point forward, soon as it flips over into winter and the light starts to increase again, then there is a tremendous amount of power in that. So even if it turns out that we aren't quite finished and ready to open until the winter solstice hits in December, that's okay, because we're just going to be riding that energy into the new year. And I think I see our person walking in the door, possibly Marla Faye, maybe. Otherwise, she's going into the nail salon next door. Okay. Nail salon. Okay. We have a nail salon on this side of us, and then on the other side, we have a foot spa salon. So we're kind of bookend by, we are the heart of the head to toe. So, yeah.
The wind is blowing right, we smell the feet.
If I'll tell you what, if anybody smells defeat, then we move out of the way of that wind and we wait for it to pass, and then we go forward with our plans. Very good, John Mason. So does that help, Jason, on that? Okay. Aha, now I see more people pulling in. I don't know. We'll see. Could that possibly be them? We'll find out in the moment. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Maybe it is true. It looks like they're heading for the door, so hang on there, virtual attendees. Awesome. Yes.
I think I have some books to add to the registry.
Uh-huh.
I was told that I could box them up and bring them in.
Yeah,
Is that how you do that?
yeah. How many are you
Oh.
talking about?
I don't know, probably under 30.
Well, if it's that many, you want to make an appointment with Marcia,
Okay.
because she needs to be here when you bring them over. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I have to go look, I don't know.
Okay, well, the main thing is that somebody needs to be here before you bring them over. because there's a receiving process.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a form that the library team has to put not, depending on how many you have. If it's like just 10 items, 10 books or CDs or whatever, then it's really quick. But if somebody brings in boxes and boxes of items, then it's gonna take a little bit more time. Yeah.
So if it was only 10,
If it's just 10 books, say, you can just put them in a box and leave them. And then with a note of who they're from, and then they can contact you if they're not here.
okay,
Just arrange it with Alex. Alex is in the admin office from noon to 5, Monday through Friday, with the exception of the days that she's scheduled to be off. So you can call ahead of time and arrange a time, make sure it works for both you and her. Okay?
and you know me well enough to know that I'm off like all the time.
Oh, absolutely. But as long as one of us is on, it'll work out. Welcome. Are you
Hi,
Marla
Marla.
Fay?
Yes,
Pleasure to
yes.
meet you, my dear.
Pleasure to meet you. Hi, Hug.
Oh, okay. All right. Pleasure to meet you.
I got a pen.
Well, make yourself comfortable.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I think everybody's here and Jesse just popped in virtually. Wow. Perfect timing. There must have been traffic on the internet highway too. So we were just doing a little bit of general sharing and welcoming and answering a few questions. And so what I'd like to do so that we can be sure and be wrapped up by 3 o'clock is let's just go ahead and get started into the main focus of what we like to do at our open houses. We have an open house once a quarter to mark the season. And we do that because aligning with the seasons is very helpful for human beings. We've really gotten out of touch with doing that. Now, in my lifetime, it's been come back more around to that. Farmers, I have to say in particular, though, have always kind of stayed in tune with the seasons, kind of held the space for us over the decades. But even the meaning behind what each season is about has kind of gotten lost. So we make an effort to help people stay in touch with that. So that's what we're going to talk about first. You should have gotten a handout, messages of the seasons, when you came in. And some of you already have one from past times or know it by heart by now. So before I start talking about any of this, I'd like to find out from all of you. Talk to me about what it's been like for you in terms of what the seasons mean for you and how have you experienced them? How have they influenced your life? If at all, is this a new concept? Is this something like, oh yeah, I've been doing this for 20 years already? You know, so talk to me about what's it like for you right now with the seasons? Whoever feels comfortable to share.
The summer always means that you're done with school. And I remember that was a big thing when I was young.
Yes.
And I would say that it's not necessarily my favorite season. I really like the spring and fall.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
considering I can go swimming more in the summer, it's a good thing.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm not a farmer, so I don't have to work through the summer that hard.
yeah, yeah, that's for sure. So for you, I'm hearing you say that summer is more about just being free and out there and open and play and just connecting with friends, things like that.
And through my life, later summer, I've done a lot of backpacking or camping.
Oh, yeah.
Hiking.
Mhm.
And after the snow melts in the spring, it's good to get into the hiking.
Oh, yeah, alpine. level, yeah. Backpacking, yes, and connecting with nature. So you it sounds like, a relationship with nature already. And were your summers as a child part of how you developed that? Or,
Yes,
yeah,
we had a couple of vacation experiences where we went into the mountains.
uh-huh,
And I fell in love with that experience, and when I was old enough to drive myself and get places.
mhm,
I had a lot of not only getting away, but I had spiritual experiences, kind of reconnecting with, things that were more basic and foundational for me
mhm.
when you're away from all the hubbub of society.
Yeah, that's awesome that you got to have that. That's awesome. Thank you, John. Anybody else? Yeah, Marla Pay?
I never really, paid a lot of attention to separation of seasons.
Mm-hmm.
However, I know how each one affects me.
Ah, okay.
You know, the darkness comes,
Mm-hmm.
I have a tendency to get into sad. So what I do is I try to bathe myself in light, like that. Now that I'm in sound therapy, it's kind of like,
Hmm.
it goes along with the seasons. And there are specific celebrations I can do with sound
Oh,
for each season that will bring certain resonance
oh,
into the room.
that's great.
And so I'm really excited
Mhm.
to start being more involved with the season and the solstices and all of that.
That's
And,
great.
so I'm getting a whole new education
Mhm.
on things that never really paid a lot of attention to before. But now that I'm immersed in it, it's kind of like, oh yeah, I did it.
Yeah,
And
Mhm.
so it does make sense to me
that's awesome.
that every season brings something new.
Oh, really?
And spring and autumn are my favorite.
Yeah, we all have a favorite
Yeah, because I like to see the
or a
new,
couple
but I like to
favorites.
see the old
Mhm.
world go.
Yes,
And it's the season of letting go
yes.
of that.
Yep.
And so I embrace that. And I also embrace the spring.
That's great. Good for you.
It's just like I have new beginnings.
Thank you for sharing. That's
Yeah,
really awesome.
Absolutely.
I love it. That one of the things about having this concept of paying attention to the seasons separately is that it gives some structure to our ability to notice the changes. Now, a lot of people already are doing that, just sort of like you're saying, you know, it's they're affected more when there's less light, and they don't do as well when there's less light. Or maybe for people who don't do well when there's a lot of light, you know, it just depends. We're all supposed to be different, you know, so it depends on who we are. But having the structure of the 4 seasons is just kind of a way to help us get to know ourselves better. You know, the True Life Sanctuary is all about know thyself. And this is one real basic way for every human being to begin that process or build on the process they've already got going. So that's why we do it. Anybody else want to share about season? Yeah. Lynn.
So growing up in this part of the world,
Mm-hmm.
there were always 4 seasons.
Uh-huh.
And the privilege of spending time in the mountains, outdoors, winter and summer. I preferred the summer. Similar to the things that John talked about, more freedom
Yeah.
and also have the privilege of, parents who dedicated time and energy to building a boat. We built a cabin on Seymour Mountain before I was born as a friend, and so that was a wintertime activity, and then a few years later, they built a water going vessel.
Wow, they built a boat.
They did, and it was, on the side of the Chrome Mountain at the valley, and people used to kid them about, when are the animals?
The art.
They are, I mean, literally, it was
Yeah.
steep.
Yeah.
And so that was put in the water when I was years old. So every summer from, well, spring into early fall, May to October, we were out on the water just about every week and then some vacation. So it was immersion in
Yeah.
nature. And so it's been a really important part of my life.
Wow, that's awesome.
You know, continue to be as an adult.
What a blessing for people like you and others that have grown up with that connection to nature. It's so, so precious. Let me just ask, is there anybody in the room that grew up in the city? Paula?
Yeah, I was
John.
gonna say something about that. I grew up in the city.
Yeah,
so,
uh-huh.
In Montreal in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So right away I went to winter.
Uh-huh.
I was saying that I really didn't like winter very much because the winters are so long and cold in Canada.
Mhm.
And it seems like they just last forever and ever. And then in Montreal, it seems like we have like days and days and days of where it's just gray and oppressive and it just sits there. And the front comes in and just sits. Where in here in the Pacific Northwest, you know, you might get weather, but the light is so interesting.
Mhm.
Out here, you know, in the Pacific Northwest, you have these clouds that come in and out, so
Mhm.
it's not depressing like it could be,
Mhm.
you know, in the city.
Yeah, yeah,
So whenever spring comes around, boy, you really feel like spring is here.
Yeah. yeah.
And you feel like your blood is going again. And we have like those maple trees, so the sap is running again and then all that maple syrup. So I associate-
In Montreal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
uh-huh.
I associate like spring with maple syrup.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, summer just can't come too soon because it lasts like 2 months.
Yeah. 2 month summer in Montreal.
So I love the summer, but the fall, and I love the fall because of the foliage changes.
Oh,
the
yes.
leaves change.
Yes, yeah.
So it's really pretty. That's when I want to go out in the country and drive around in the
Mhm.
leaves and stuff. But now I've lived all over different states in the country. And I can say when I lived in Arizona, it was always, every day was a beautiful day.
Mhm.
So I felt like there was no seasons there. It was
Mhm.
always sun. You know,
Mhm.
every day is a beautiful day. It's not a cloud in the sky. The sky is just blue. And I miss the seasons when I was there.
Missing the seasons, and yes, that can happen. Yeah,
But out here in the Pacific Northwest, it's just like do it. It's just beautiful.
yeah, you really get a bit of all 4 seasons up in the Pacific Northwest. Yeah, and also, you know, I gotta say, everything that we're talking about here is about the northern hemisphere of our globe. The opposite is happening on the bottom hemisphere. You know, when we have our winter, they're having their summer. So it's interesting to have Christmas in the blazing 90s and hundreds, right? So it's just a way for us to just kind of like take a look at what's going on around us. And here's the key part of it, why we emphasize it so much, is that there's an energy field in that, what's going on in that season. And because we want everybody involved in the Tree of Life Sanctuary to be living their life's purpose, fulfilling their passions, regardless of whether it's just to be, collecting shells on the seashore or being a leader of a country. It doesn't matter what our purpose is, but we want to use the energy of the season in a way that is going to support us moving and making progress on our path to becoming our best authentic self. So that's the key part of why we always mark the beginning of a new season. So here we are in summer. That actually starts in terms of the seasons and the science and things like that on Thursday. So let me just ask you, when you think about the energy of summer, regardless of where you are in the Northern Hemisphere, how would you describe that feeling of what does that energy feel like? You've already talked a little bit about it. What else could you share?
Feels like it's really back.
Super active, yes. What other
Everybody comes out
words?
of the woodwork after the summer.
Yes,
You know, sun's out, yay,
yes.
however, I'm very sensitive to stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always all covered up and
Yeah.
hat, long sleeves, long pants,
Mm-hmm.
you know, sunblock, all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah.
And so too much sun's too much for me.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I have to find shade or
Mhm.
find something to do, where I can be covered and not get hot.
There you go. So you're describing a field that's very intense maybe,
Yeah,
and you got to find ways to make it so you can handle the intensity.
that's why I live in the Pacific Northwest.
Yes, yes,
Just when
ma'am.
you get sun sometimes, you go to 100 very early, but when it does, okay, I have a place to go
Yep,
and hide from it, but
Yep.
normally 70s and 80s, that's not bad.
yep. Gotcha.
So I
Gotcha.
do find myself more busy in summer,
Yeah.
really busy summer.
Good. Busy. That's a word, John?
The days are long.
The days are
It's
long,
light at
Mhm.
4:30 and stays light till 10.
right?
There's a
Mhm.
lot of day.
Yes, especially here.
Well, yeah.
The more north you go.
Yes,
Mhm.
and, so there's some sort of unconscious expectation that we
Mhm.
need to get out and be active,
Mhm.
doing things, rather than huddling inside
Right,
from the cold and the dark. and the
right, right, right.
And I think it's part of living with a culture
Uh-huh.
of being in the Northwest.
Yes, absolutely.
Getting out, and being around more people.
Getting out and
Being
being
more
with
communicative,
more communicating, connecting.
connected.
Yes, 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 yes. Welcome. Yeah, glad you could be here. Are you Amy?
I am.
I remembered you. Yay, Amy, welcome. It's good to see you again. Yeah. So, these descriptions of summer and the energy field, how would you think about the idea that it's the field of active versus passive, or as we describe it in the handout, the messages of the seasons, it's acting versus waiting. That the season of spring and summer are more about acting and moving forward with whatever we can do to step into our authentic selves. And then in the fall and winter is more about waiting for things to start coming to us or continue to come to us that we've set in motion during spring and summer. So action, take action oriented, and then waiting, receiving. So those are the two energies of everything about life on planet Earth. And that the Tree of Life Sanctuary is named after the concept of Kabbalah, Hermetic Kabbalah. And that's what Hermetic Kabbalah teaches, is how do we live in a world of duality, these two energies, in a way that's balanced and allows us to continue to progress. So that's the essence of why we focus on the seasons every year. So here we are, we're at summer. Okay, so I would like to share with you a fun exercise. Well, no, I can't use that word. That's a bad word, exercise. It's a game that we play with ourselves. So before we do that, though, I'd like to encourage you to, if you want some water, I'm going to get myself some more water. I also, we have brochures over there. We have a raffle that we're going to do in a little while. And we have brochures over there about our coaches and the school. We have tea over here if you would like some hot tea on a rainy Northwest day. So, anybody wanted to get anything to drink or take a look around? Let's do that before we start. there was a period of time, of course, from, we used to be, Tree of Life Sanctuary used to be downtown on Holly Street in the Fine Arts Building. And we have been there since 2010, renting space by the hour. And then in 2014, we got our own suite in that building downtown. And we were just on the verge of, we were getting ready to look for a new space anyway for our Seekers Library to open up. And then the pandemic hit. So it was like, oh, okay. Is this a problem or is it an opportunity? And we really approached it as an opportunity, and we took those couple of years where we were sequestered but working virtually to really get clear on what we wanted for the Seekers Library. You know, just the beginning parts of just figuring out, well, what do we need? How much space do we need? What do we want to have happening in it? All, you know, those kinds of things. And we got just amazing support from so many different fronts. And by the time the pandemic was over, all of the abundance that we needed showed up in order to start leasing new space. And we looked for about a year. 2023 was pretty much just looking around town. We had a wonderful leasing agent that helped us, business leasing agent. And in the end, this is the one next door is actually the one that was available first. That ended up being bigger, better, and lower rent than all of the other ones we looked at. And we were just about ready to sign on another space. And then this one showed up. So we've been following the guidance and support of what I call source. Some people call it universe, you know, whatever you want to, we have lots of cool names for it. And it constantly is working in our favor. We just have, once we got really clear about what we wanted to manifest, what we wanted to create for our community, it's like it keeps getting handed to us, but we got to pay attention. And that's one of the things about the summer energy is it's like, okay, we can spend all winter all cuddled up and doing virtual meetings as a team and getting clear about not only what we want for the organization, but what we want for ourselves individually. But then come spring, summer, we better, you know, get ready to ride that horse because things are going to start coming in. And you got to be able to see it and be willing to accept it. Sometimes it's not comfortable the way it shows up. And sometimes it might require us to make a shift or a change here and there. But it shows up. So the next thing that I would like to talk about is this idea of problem or opportunity. So one of the things that we also do as an organization is for people who are drawn to joining in on this idea, we create a spring blossoming vision bound. And that's the one we did this last March. And you'll see, not only is it's a wreath really, but it's a branch or nature kind of oriented structure. And then we put silk flowers on it, not plastic, but silk. And then each of us that is inspired to join in, we create something that describes what we as individuals want to create for our personal life. And it doesn't have to be a piece of paper. We've had other people actually attach. Emma did this many years ago. We have several people virtually attending here, by the way. That's why I'm looking at this computer. She presented a purple hyacinth bulb, flowering hyacinth, and put that on the wreath. And that represented to her what she wanted to accomplish in herself, in her life that year. And so it doesn't have to be a picture. It can be anything. It just needs to be burnable. non-toxic, because at the winter solstice, we burn it and release all the energy. And then at noon, every day, those of us who are inspired, we send energy to this blossoming vision vow. And that helps everybody that's involved in their manifestation of their dream for the year, their vision. So that's what that is. Now, once we have anchored it in the spring equinox and presented it as, okay, this is what we're asking for as individuals. We also have on there the Tree of Life Sanctuaries goals for the year. So the organization is in there too. And then it's like, okay, spring, let's get going. And what is it that comes up in these months after between spring and summer is all these things like, oh, wow. I'm going to give you an example. It's very related to Tree of Life Sanctuary. We knew we were going to hire an operations manager. And we were thinking that we would be ready to do that by maybe, May, something like that. But lo and behold, early March, like within barely, she was already here when we made that. We had made the decision actually a few weeks before spring hit. Here comes somebody that is perfect for the position, and we aren't quite ready to have an employee yet. So some people like me are going, oh my God, how are we gonna do this? And but when that reaction comes, it's because we're looking at the situation as a new problem. And, that's just the nature of the human species, because we want to avoid problems because, problems are problems for a reason. We call them that for a reason. However, we got to get out of that way of thinking as a species, because things in life are not always going to be comfortable. Things are not always going to be delivered in a way that's smooth and easy and, oh yeah, let's just float around on the fairy dust. We have to sometimes just say, okay, what do I have to do? Will they work? Can we work it out? So really what happens in the end is that these problems that we perceive are problems are actually opportunities for us not only to grab a hold of and receive what we've asked for, but for us to transform ourselves and see the world around us, what's happening in a different way. And that it's a blessing trying to fall into our life. So it's about us learning to shift ourselves into a different mindset. Now that's, some people say, not easy, because we have egos that edge God out. It's the wonderful thing about human species. We got egos. And there's a lot of fun in having an ego. There's a lot of power in having the ego. There is a lot of progress that happens from the ego. So it's not like we want to get rid of it, but we got to learn, we got to start training it. We got to train it to just see things different. We still want it to be on our side, but we need to be able to have it become a team member instead of a bull in a china shop. So considering that concept, I'd like to ask you to, you have a tablet and a pen. If you if you need a tablet or a pen, if you don't have one by you, just let me know. And those of you virtually, it's up to you. You can write it down or you can just do it internally. I'm going to ask you a question, and I would like you to, first of all, just relax and close your eyes, because I'm going to have you go within for a moment. And I also want to say that there's anything that comes up today for you that you're required to share. You can keep everything and anything private. So don't restrict yourself because of concern about sharing. To start off with, I'd like you to imagine just a bright white, maybe clear light shining down over this room. And just take a breath and get yourself comfortable, centered in your place you're sitting. And that energy of that white light, clear light, is coming from whatever source you believe is a positive, loving place. Take a breath. And now I would like you to put your attention on this question. What is it that you have been wanting to have come to you this year in your life? It can be something external, like a new job, or it could be something internal, like the ability to do something or change something inside of yourself. What is that goal? Be a moment more to kind of get clarity on it. Now, what I'd like you to do inside yourself is imagine that it's already happened. If it's in the future, go ahead and put yourself in that future where it's come to you already. You're already living in it. If it's something inside of you that you want to shift, imagine that's already happened. You don't even have to know how it happened, but it's happened. So go to that space where those things that goal is happened. Take a breath. I want you to talk to yourself about how are you feeling? How does it feel to be in that new creation? Whether it's outside of you or inside of you. What are the emotions that you're feeling? How does your body feel? Take a breath. And then take a moment to thank yourself and source or whatever assisted you in giving you that, helping you get there. Thank it. Feel the gratitude. And then when you're ready, I'd like you to open your eyes and write down what you felt. What were the feelings that you felt when you went to that place? take about another minute. When you're ready, open your eyes. People need a little more time. Okay. So. I'll open up the floor for anybody to share if they're inspired to share. Again, you're not required by any means. Before we do that, though, I would like to explain that I call this a game that we play with ourselves because it is a way for us to enter into play with the divine within ourselves. That part of the human being that makes us so, it's like the best and the worst of creatures on this planet is that we can create. We are co-creators with Source. And so this is a way that we can play with that divine within. And if this works for you, it doesn't work for everybody. Not everybody feels comfortable with it, and that's totally okay. But if it does work for you, it's a way to reconnect and touch into what you want to have your life be like and who you want to be. And we can go there anytime we want. And the more we do it, what we can find is that we get insights as to what the next step is. It's like, oh yeah, I need to do that. A real good example is, for the story I'll share, is I'm a huge Star Trek fan. Have been ever since I was a child. And I went to the 50th anniversary, or I wanted to go to the 50th anniversary convention in Las Vegas. It's like, I'm not missing that. So a year ahead, I realized that, well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to have to create the money for it. And so I figured out how much I wanted to have for this experience. And I started the process. I did this daily. Not everybody wants to do it daily, but I did it every day. And for 3 months or so, and everything came together at the end of the 3 months. But the example I wanted to share is that one of the things that I realized, sometimes it's really simple and practical, is if I'm going to be going to this convention, I'm going to be meeting a whole lot of people, and I'm going to be meeting a bunch of kindred spirits that are into Star Trek because of spirituality. I better get my business card updated. And it's like, oh my God. So little things like that. And then it can be bigger things. And then the money starts showing up. And then you know, everything just starts falling into place, but every day I would envision going into I'd be in the hotel room, and I even had gotten online and looked at what the hotel rooms looked like at the hotel I wanted to stay at. And I visualized myself sitting in the chair in that room, being there, and how much it meant to me, and it was very, very moving. And to be able to thank Source for giving that to me, that I could be there for that. And that I got to meet these cool people that I never knew before, you know. And I actually got to talk to Captain Janeway. It was awesome. Kate Mulgrew, the actress. So that's a real simple story about something that can be as powerful as fulfilling your life purpose. So, is there anything from this experience, this game we played today, that you would like to share? You don't have to, but if you're inspired to share, this is a time. Marla Fay.
I've got so many things happening in my life. They haven't come to fruition yet. However, I do believe in time.
Good.
I believe in manifesting my life. And so a couple of things that came to mind were, oh yeah, I need to do this thing. It's there.
Right.
It's not all, I mean, Spirit's not gonna do those things for you.
Right.
You have to do them to get it.
Yes. Yeah.
So I've done quite a bit of it.
Good.
And the thing is that I haven't done enough visualizing of myself being in that place, doing that thing, whatever. So I would like to have it around that.
There you go.
And I would also like to build a picture board
Yeah.
of all the things that I will be doing,
Yes.
that I am.
Yes.
And so, and this is the time of
Right.
getting all things together. And,
Right, summer.
The harvest. And,
Yeah.
And there's several things I want to have harvested by the end of the summer. So I'm real excited to see it happen because I know the universe will do it.
Yeah.
And I know I'm in the right space and I'm fine.
Great. Awesome.
So there's a few little kinks here and there that as a human, I don't see possible.
Yes.
But as a manifester,
Yes.
I know they can come.
Yes.
And will.
You got it.
So we talked about trying to get money together on that trip. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that would be like, I'd be sitting here going, I don't have that kind of money.
Yeah, that's
You know.
that's
and
what the
so
ego
get all
says.
caught up in the passengers on my brain.
Right. Right.
So, I do know for a fact that in August, certain things will happen.
Good. Good.
And it will be perfect.
Good. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. And you
I'm
feel the
excited.
gratitude for it already.
Oh, and, yeah, joy, gratefulness, fulfillment, self-love, an immense love for my life, a sense of belonging, and a sense of being my true self.
Awesome.
All those things, you know.
That's great. That's what True Life Sanctuary wants to see happen. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else want to share something about their experience? Okay. Yeah, Jason.
So the concept you were talking about, playing with the divine within us
Uh-huh.
and just having this game, to make it fun
Mhm.
and feeling where, what you feel like when you are at that, whatever you want to manifest, like that feeling of like, man, I'm like in it.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
All these things, and like, I feel like when you do that, it's just a lot more, it's a lot easier to attain those things that we manifest because
Yes.
we've already felt that feeling of like being in it.
Oh, yeah.
And then like, we just want to gravitate eventually towards like even having that feeling in our reality.
Exactly. Exactly. You got it. That's awesome. Yep. Well, that's what I personally want for everybody that comes to Tree of Life Sanctuary. I have this passion to help people do that for themselves because I was helped. I went to I had a spiritual training, like many of us have had. and continue to do. And so that's why I'm doing this. I want to help people do it for themselves. So that's the fun for the day. How about we take a break and I can walk you next door and show you the other part of the Seekers Library to come. And then we'll come back in and close with the raffle. Does that sound good?
There you go.
Okay, awesome.